I'd get it one piece at a time, and it wouldn't cost me a dime. You'll know it's me when I come through your town.
Welcome to the Milsurp Mike channel. Today I'm going to tackle a favorite rifle for many Milsurp collectors, the small magazine Lee Enfield Mark III Star. If you're in this for my Cliff Notes history, please watch my previous video on the Martini rifles, where I give an abbreviated history of British military long guns from the Brown Bess through the Martini Enfield, where I dip my toes into the beginnings of the Lee Metford and Lee Enfield rifles. I will leave a link below and at the end of this video. There I talked about how the .303 round started out as a black powder round to replace the .577 450 round used in Martini Henrys. A new rifle created by American James Paris Lee was bolt action, cock on close with a 10-round detachable magazine. This was paired with a barrel with the rifling designed by William Ellis Metford, and thus we get the Lee Metford rifle. With the invention of smokeless powder in France in 1886, the .303 cartridge was quickly converted to a smokeless cartridge. It was discovered that the smokeless .303 wore the shallow grooves of the Metford barrel rather quickly, so the Royal Small Arms Factory at Enfield came up with a new barreled rifle to add to the Lee rifle, giving us the first magazine Lee Enfield in 1895. A cavalry carbine version was released the next year. The Boer War from 1899 through 1902 became a huge learning curve for the British. Not only were the Boers armed with Mausers, they employed superior tactics. This resulted in the Director General of the Ordnance, Sir Henry Brackenbury, to say that Britain was attempting to maintain the largest empire the world has ever seen, with armament and reserves that would be insufficient for a third-class military power. 40% of ammo reserves consisted of Mark IV ammunition, which is basically hollow point ammo, and the jacket disintegrating in the barrel, quickly fouling them. Not to mention the Hague Convention banned hollow points for wartime use. The Boer War showed the British that they needed to update their weaponry, ammunition, and tactics. After the war, the small magazine Lee Enfield, or SMLE, or SMLE, was approved in 1902 and introduced in 1904. The rifle's length was between that of the full-size MLE and the carbine. The new rifle had the ability to use more modern ammunition and be charger-loaded. The Mark VI .303 was developed around this time that reduced fouling. In 1907, the Mark III SMLE was introduced that increased the rifle's effectiveness and simplified manufacturing. A charger bridge was added to ease reloading. The sights were also improved. In 1910, the .303 round finally got a Spitzer bullet, and the Mark III sights were improved to compensate for the flatter trajectory bullet. The British contemplated replacing both the rifle and the round with the Mauser-based pattern 1913 and the round with the .276 Enfield to try to match the effectiveness of the 7mm round used against them during the Boer War. But the advent of World War I put a halt to this. The pattern 1913 became the pattern 1914, which is the same rifle that shot the .303 Mark VII round. This was contracted out to the United States to produce, as the British could not quickly retool their factories from making the Mark III's SMLE. Of course, we all know what the pattern 14 led to, but that's a story told in my World War I anniversary video last year. Link will be at the end of this video. World War I saved the SMLE Mark III, as it proved to be a decent infantry rifle. As the war wore on, the need for the rifle outstripped demand, so ways were sought to further simplify production. The SMLE Mark III Star was introduced in early 1916, which eliminated the magazine cutoff, long-range sights, windage adjustment for the rear sight, the swivel lugs in the front of the magazine were replaced by a loop, and it eliminated the brass butt disc. The SMLE Mark III Star is the Lee Enfield most associated with World War I. After the war, there were several changes leading up to my next Lee Enfield video, but the Mark III Star still saw much action in World War II, especially with Commonwealth nations. My Mark III Star was actually my third Milsurp purchase way back when, after the Gateway Drug Mosin and my Russian capture K98K, so I've had this for a while. Out of those three, I'd say this is my favorite to shoot, but as I've shot more milsurps, I've knocked the .303 cartridge rifles down a peg on my list of favorites due to the rim cartridge and rim lock. Perhaps if I shot more surplus ammo, which is hard to find at times, my opinion would change. But mostly I've had PPU and Herter's hunting ammo in my stores, and it seems that the modern cartridges are shorter than the milsurp cartridges, leading to feeding issues in rim lock. I had the most fun running these when I have had a stash of milsurp ammo to shoot. Also, I can see how the external metal magazines can be a weakness compared to internal magazine rifles used by other nations. I do like the sight acquisition, the heft of the rifle, and of course the storied history after a rather forgettable beginning. If you like what you see, please be aware of where your elected officials and the groups who claim to represent you stand on the Second Amendment. You just might find the Republican you supported and the NRA stand with Feinstein more than they stand with you. Please join the GOA, a no-compromise Second Amendment organization that keeps you informed of what really goes on, and most importantly, join your state's organizations who do the most of the fighting that pertain to you. Please don't forget my SKS giveaway for Help a Brother Out for CMAX and EdUSAF. Also, please comment, like, and subscribe. Also, please check out my Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and who I support on Patreon. Thank you for watching, and as always, have a great day.